Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mikey. You guys rock with me on Mikey's Intellectual Corner. On today's video, this one's entitled "The First Medal of Honor Ever Recorded." For you guys who don't know me, I did serve in the United States Army for about 7 years as artilleryman or a cannon crew member. With that being said, this video has a little bit of closeness, not because I knew him obviously, but because there were veterans involved, and I too have lost, a brother in arms and stuff like that. So it hits a little bit different, as you can, I guess, imagine or something. You know what I'm saying? With that being said, though, thank you guys for joining me today. Don't forget to check out my short series today in history. Let's go ahead and just get into it, okay?
Chapman, a U.S. Air Force combat controller, and the SEALs are attempting to rescue their lost teammate. You'll watch Chapman's heroic actions as he saves the lives of his entire SEAL team and then another 18 members of a quick reaction force, earning America's highest award, the Medal of Honor. Chapman and the SEALs exfil their MH-47 helicopter. John is the second individual to exit and immediately moves in the direction of the summit. He can be seen moving off to the right of the screen, alone. The team is taking heavy fire from every direction, as indicated by the arrows, as Chapman begins engaging targets.
Now already, for a lot, this would already seem like a already kind of daunting and hopeless task, you know what I'm saying? But you have to remember, these men trained like 25/8, whether it be at the range or at a training facility for months. These men are already trained their body to essentially to act on its own, to get into the prone or kneeling position and return fire as quickly as possible. It's like, for them, doing that is as natural as breathing is for you and me. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and keep it going, though, guys.
As Chapman begins engaging targets. You can see spent cartridges ejecting from his M4. Chapman then begins closing with the enemy, forcing his way upslope in knee and thigh-deep snow. He is constantly under fire as he does this. Chapman's team leader begins to close on Chapman, following his trail through the snow. The dark mass above Chapman is a fortified bunker containing 2 enemy fighters, each armed with AK-47s, who are firing down on the team in the darkness. This bunker will come to be known as Bunker Number 1. To the left of the tree and Bunker 1 is another gray mass. This is a rock outcropping that came to be called the Boulder. Between Bunker 1 and this boulder can be seen the body of slain SEAL Neil Roberts.
Now this is already a very problematic situation, because I'm pretty sure the guys at the top were already having a huge discussion of whether or not to even do this mission or not. Because although yes, you never leave a man behind, you also got to remember, you don't want to lose other men in the process. You know what I'm saying? But on top of that, you already know their adrenaline is pumping. You see their training kind of going into effect, because although it looks like the other men are staying back for some type of weird reason, they're actually providing cover fire. You know what I'm saying? So this is actually a type of formation where it looks like Chapman and his team leader are going into the file formation behind each other and going up the slope to try to get to this their target, while their other teammates provide cover fire. Again, we can see their training into action. With that being said, let's go ahead and keep it going, guys.
You've seen the body of slain SEAL Neil Roberts, the man Chapman and the others are attempting to recover. Chapman, still alone and closest to the enemy, pauses to engage targets as his team leader follows him, but never actually catches up with him. Chapman, on his own, now makes the decision to charge directly into the enemy bunker, despite withering point-blank fire. Chapman, now literally on top of the enemy, engages the 2 combatants and kills them, saving the lives of the remaining SEALs. He does this from a distance of no more than 10 feet.
Now, even then, and not a lot of people know this, but this is actually what they just did was an fire and maneuver drills, where you'll have say your teammates are behind you, they're providing fire for you. You get up, you run towards your target that is firing back. You have to hurry up, run, sprint, and then dive, almost getting into a baseball slide. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get back down to the prone. Yell out to your teammates that you're down. Let them know that they can go ahead and go. They're supposed to bound, but what he just did was obviously a very big step above that, and you can't teach that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? What he just did, you can teach a little bit, but you either have it or you don't. But let's keep going.
Distance of no more than 10 feet. These actions by themselves earned him his first Medal of Honor. He then climbs into and takes control of the bunker. Having cleared the immediate threat, Chapman is then joined by his team leader in Bunker 1. You can then see Chapman and his team leader engaging the next bunker, known as Bunker 2, which is situated to the left edge of the screen. This bunker, manned by a handful of Chechen and Uzbek fighters, also contains a heavy PKM machine gun, hand grenades, and rocket-propelled grenades. John Chapman is shot twice at this time in the torso and collapses, incapacitated. You are now looking at a new angle, and at the left of the screen can be seen the two-man fire team and team leader on top of the boulder. Just below it is Bunker 1 with the mortally wounded Chapman. One SEAL can be seen firing his modified M60 machine gun from the hip into Bunker 2 on the right side of the screen until he is struck by grenade shrapnel and tumbles 10 feet off the top of the boulder, collapsing at the feet of his team leader, thus setting off a chain of events that would lead to the SEALs abandoning Chapman on the summit. The wounded SEAL and the team leader...
See, and I feel like why was he up there on the top of... I understand he was again providing that cover fire onto that target, but I'm saying, there's no cover, no concealment up there, and then we see what happens. So
to the SEALs abandoning Chapman on the summit. The wounded SEAL and the team leader can be seen conferring about his injuries. Moments later, the SEALs decide to retreat from the summit because their position is untenable in the face of continued massive enemy firepower. They can be seen moving toward the right side of the screen and passing the body of Neil Roberts. Unfortunately, the SEALs do not pass John Chapman, who is above them and inside Bunker 1. This angle shows 3 SEALs in a triangle. The larger black heat signature is a smoke grenade. Just to its left is a donkey and dead Al-Qaeda fighter killed by Chapman. The steepness of the mountain can be seen as the SEALs begin to slide down the near sheer face.
Yeah, that was pretty smart of whoever's idea was to pop that smoke for concealment, because you got to remember there's a whole bunch of snow, and it's guaranteed the moon is reflecting a lot of that off right now, so it's not as pitch dark as it usually should be at this time of night. It's probably pretty light out there because of all the snow.
Seen as the SEALs begin to slide down the near sheer face. The team leader, desperate for relief and now with 2 wounded teammates, asks for uncontrolled airstrikes from an orbiting Air Force AC-130 gunship. The impacts you see are from 105mm howitzer rounds being fired onto the ridgetop in order to save the remaining SEALs. Because neither the SEALs nor gunship know Chapman is alive, he is experiencing these detonations from his position.
And that's really messed up too, because I can tell you guys right now, that's what I missed with when I was in the Army. It was 155 artillery round. It's about this big, almost about 100 pounds, and I know here's a picture of it from when I was at a training event myself. Or a picture of them anyway. They are very devastating, so I feel really bad for him right now, and I think he's still mortally wounded.
He is experiencing these detonations from his position. At approximately 5:20 in the morning, Chapman recovers and begins to engage the enemy. Bunker 1 is on the right side center of the screen and Bunker 2 to the left near the screen center. It will never be known what caused his incapacitation and recovery. Of the 2 rounds that originally wounded him, at least one was mortal, and at this time he is experiencing severe blood loss and shock. Despite that, he begins his one-man stand against 24 enemy combatants. During this time, Chapman initiates a series of radio calls, many of which are heard by a fellow combat controller and teammate of his and Delta Force operators on a nearby summit. Despite this, combat controllers...
I can only imagine how alone he must feel, you can tell he's probably holding on because he can tell that his teammates are coming back for him, but you just can't imagine how lonely he must feel right now,
Operators on a nearby summit. Despite this, combat controller replies, Chapman never acknowledges whether because of damage to his equipment or himself will never be known. This new angle and footage shows Chapman at the top, identified by the green dot under the tree at Bunker 1. The lower center of the screen shows the first enemy fighter who is about to charge Chapman in the hopes of killing the American. The timestamp at the bottom shows it is now 6:05 in the morning and fully light. He's been fighting alone now for 40 plus minutes and has received more gunshot and shrapnel wounds as a result of the fierce combat. This scene shows the second of several enemy charges. In this stunning display of determination and courage, Chapman can be seen fighting hand to hand with the fighter. In the larger...
So you can't teach that because, you already... With a mortal wound, like how many of us would be still willing to fight for our lives? How many of us wouldn't have just... given up and laid down, you know what I'm saying? So, in my opinion, that right there should have gotten him another Medal of Honor, because you can't teach that, you know what I'm saying? That's your heart right there.
Hand to hand with the fighter. In the larger screen display can be seen additional enemy moving on to the summit. But right now, John Chapman is fighting for his life. 6 minutes later, in this new shot, Chapman can hear another helicopter approaching the summit. He is in the bottom center of the screen underneath the tree and can be seen in the magnified inset box as he begins his desperate final stand to save the lives of the 18 men on the helicopter. The red dots are enemy fighters. John begins engaging the enemy in multiple directions and is rapidly approaching the last of his ammunition. The helicopter contains a quick reaction force comprised of Rangers, pararescuemen, and another combat controller. It is now 6:13 and the helicopter is short final. The enemy is desperately trying to displace Chapman so they can put heavy weapons or rocket-propelled grenades in Bunker 1 while simultaneously engaging the helicopter. With the choice to save his life or the lives of his unknown comrades, Chapman makes the decision to climb out of the bunker and begin firing in multiple directions as can be seen in the inset. Suffering from as many as a dozen wounds, Chapman is in fact already in the process of dying. As he fights, the helicopter is struck by a rocket-propelled grenade and makes a remarkable controlled crash just below Chapman and the summit.
You hear about it, you can read about a heroic event, you can hear about a heroic event. When you actually see one, it's very humbling. You know what I'm saying? It just hits a little bit different, that's all.
Chapman and the summit. Chapman, now off-screen, continues to cover his comrades as they pour out of the stricken helicopter. Some of them are fatally shot as they exit. These images, with Chapman fighting the enemy at close quarter, are the last to show him alive and in this heroic act, thus qualifying for his second Medal of Honor. Ultimately, Chapman would expend all but the last few rounds of his ammunition, until, finally, after 16 bullet and shrapnel wounds, Chapman succumbs when he is shot through the heart. We will never know his final thoughts or words, but what we do know is his decisions and actions single-handedly saved the lives of 23 comrades. For more information about John Chapman's amazing story and the...
Alright guys, we'll go ahead and stop right there. So yeah, definitely an emotional video. So for all my veterans out there, all my people who are currently serving in all countries, I salute you guys. With that being said, thank you guys again for joining me on this episode of Mike's Intellectual Corner. Don't forget to join me on my next episode where I'll be doing continuing my Napoleonic Wars series. I'll see you guys when I see you. Thank you.